And the farmers' protest, there's huge politics by the opposition parties for their ulterior purpose. Hi friends, as you know, farmers' protest is going on at the moment. On one side, there are genuine farmers who are fighting for their rights or demand. On the other side, there are opposition parties who are playing huge politics. Highly surprising is that opposition leaders who used to bat for farm reforms when they were in power, now they are openly opposing it. Opposition parties not only supported it during their tenure, but this was also part of their election manifestos. Now all have taken a U-turn to gain sympathy of the farmers and garner political gains. Congress had already promised the same during their 2019 Lok Sabha elections, and both the parties BJP and Congress were almost on the same stand regarding the farm bills. There's also a video of Congress press conference wherein Ajay Make and Rahul Gandhi are talking about supporting the farm reforms.
So that the farmers have a choice of where to sell their produce and consumers will get the benefit of lower prices. 15 जनवरी से पहले तमाम एग्रीकल्चर प्रोड्यूस मार्केटिंग कमिटीज में से फ्रूट्स और वेजिटेबल्स को लिस्ट में से हटा दिया जाएगा.
Same is the case with Aam Aadmi Party, which has promised to include corporate players in farm sector during the Punjab elections. On 23rd November 2020, Delhi government notified one of the farm laws, and 3 weeks later, on 17th of December 2020, they called a special session of State Legislative Assembly wherein Arvind Kejriwal tore apart the copies of 3 farm laws.
ये तीनों कानूनों को मैं सदन के सामने.
Can you believe it? 3 weeks back, they notified the same law, and 3 weeks later, they tore apart the same law in full drama and notanki. I mean, this is highly immature. We can understand if this is done by seasoned politicians, but people who have come via movement and revolutions, who have promised to support truth, irrespective of the party line, they are behaving worse than the politicians. As an example, I remember a Girish Karnad movie which was telecast on Doordarshan during my childhood days. The crux of the movie was that there was a political goon who had created havoc in the city, and he used to kill anybody for political gains. And there was this young boy who later became Girish Karnad and whose family was also impacted by the political goon. He formed a group along with the villagers to fight the political goon. Later, because of his honesty and good behavior, Girish Karnad was made the leader by the support of the villagers. By the end of the movie, Girish Karnad became even worse than the previous political goon. So politics spoils everybody. Maharashtra has already implemented farm laws in early 2000 under the Congress government in the leadership of Vilas Rao Deshmukh ji. This was a good decision, and Congress government also received a lot of praise on this. In Punjab, private companies are already doing contract farming on potatoes since years. Nestle is also taking milk from the Punjab farmers since ages. There have never been a case of private companies acquiring the land of farmers as some of the experts are talking about. In fact, farmers are getting better prices and opportunities. Hence, it's pretty much clear that opposition parties are only opposing for the sake of opposition. There are people who talk big on the TV debates and are excellent orators. They are part of every dharna against the government, whether it was earlier Congress government or current BJP government. But they have done nothing on the ground, and they are big failure in terms of implementation. As an example, I'm a big fan of Yogendra Yadav in terms of his TV debates. But when it comes to implementing on the ground, he's a big failure. You could say that when he was part of the Delhi government, he was cornered by Arvind Kejriwal. But just imagine if he cannot manage 10 people within the party, how can he implement laws for the entire country? I don't think we need people who are good on TV debates but could implement nothing on the ground. As an example, when Sachin Tendulkar used to get out on low scores, some of the commentators would criticize him heavily on his hook shot or maybe cover drive or forward defensive shot. These were the same commentators who could not face pace bowlers and had an average below 20. We need to choose whether we need leaders who can only talk big or implement it as well. There is quite a furor in the TV channels and social media that farmers are protesting in heavy cold. Yes, they are protesting in heavy cold, but it's even more difficult for people who get up at 4 a.m. and go to office and work for the entire day. For example, a security guard, a sweeper, a train driver, jawans patrolling on the borders, doctors and nurses working in night shifts, engineers working in night shifts, and so on and so forth. It's a real pity that we make heroes of the people who can protest and strike, maybe people who can stop buses, stop the traffic, and burn trains. It's very easy to do something destructive difficult thing is to do something constructive and develop something. For example, it just takes half an hour to burn a bus, but just to buy a bus of 15-20 lakhs, it might take hard work of the entire year. If you want to become a leader, just block the highway, stop the traffic, and be in the news. It's high time we make heroes out of constructive people, people who have done something good for the society. We should not blame the opposition since they are looking at their own survival. We need to understand that whenever there is major change in policies and laws, whether in India or worldwide, there's going to be heavy opposition. It's obvious that opposition parties will oppose it heavily because they could not do the same work during their own tenure. There are two options that the government has. One is that they do nothing as their earlier government, and obviously there will be no opposition. The other difficult option is that they should stand for what is right and face the challenge bravely. Let's hope that the deadlock between farmers and the government ends soon. Thank you so much, friends. Jai Hind.